Hello, everybody. Episode 19, Fly or Lie Golf Podcast. Mitch, sometimes I forget to introduce ourselves, so I'm going to do that first. Fly or Lie Podcast. I'm Josh. You're Mitch.
I
Or
am Mitch.
Jish.
Yes.
Either way. Some people call me Jish, or some people go the extreme and go Jeesh. They go with the weird way to say the I part.
Yeesh.
That's actually how
Are
it started.
like goose and geese now?
It maybe, yeah. Tomato, potato. I don't know. I don't know. That's actually how the Jish name started. It was Jish, then it went to Jish.
Mhm.
Whatever. Anyways, we're a golf podcast, and we're not a pro golf podcast. We don't talk about the pros. We aren't pros. We don't know anything about pros. They're good. We're not. We're amateurs. We play amateur golf. We play competitive amateur golf. So that's what we talk about because that's what we know. We do, however, occasionally steal things from the pro tours if they do things or say things that can be helpful for us as amateurs. Otherwise, they play a different game than us. We aren't as good as them, so we don't talk about them because we don't know anything about pro golf. Is that correct? Would you agree with that?
I think that's perfect.
All right.
Perfect summation there.
Perfect. All right. We are, by the way, live right now. This is not recorded because that's a whole lot of fucking work, Mitch. So we're just doing this live. We're live on X and live on YouTube. So if you are on one of those platforms or if you're watching on one of those, give us a follow on X, subscribe on YouTube, do those things because those are helpful. And then you'll get the notifications that we're live too, which is cool. If you like us, if you don't, then whatever. But uh,
If you don't like us, why not? Just like
yeah, it's
follow
probably
along.
me. You're a nice guy. People probably don't like me. Uh, anyways, do those things. We'd love to build a community of amateur golfers and chat with you guys, hang out with you guys. If you're here live with us, chat along. We'll chat back. I got the chat up here. Feel free to say mean things to me and nice things to Mitch, or ask questions. You know, whatever. I'll see it. I'll read it. We have fun with chat occasionally, so we'll do that. Um. So there's the intro. Anyways, what do we get, Mitch? We're gonna talk mostly competitive golf today, I think, right?
I think pretty much.
We have, I think you've played a little bit. I played a little bit of competitive golf last week since we've talked, and I don't know if it was a secret before or not, but it felt like it was kind of sort of a secret for a while. We're
No, it was
going
definitely a
to
big secret group, and nobody was talking about it online.
Yeah, so I think it was kind of secret, right? But it's not anymore because I've seen a whole bunch of people tweeting about it like the last 2, 3 days now. You and I are going to play a tournament down in Iowa at Elmwood Country Club. I believe it's Country Club.
Yeah.
I never know what to say. You get you get the course name, and then there's some 2 words after that. Sometimes it's golf course, sometimes it's golf club, sometimes it's country club, sometimes it's golf and country club. Sometimes I never know.
Mhm.
For example, Summerby is golf club. I looked that up yesterday.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So, anyways, we're going to Elmwood for the what's it officially called? The X Invitational.
The Invitational.
Okay, and
Which
that is
is, go ahead.
that is X people, X golf people. You'll probably recognize a lot of names. Maybe not real names, unless you're Bogey Barn, who that is just who your name is.
I love that Bogey Barn just put Bogey Barn down. Nobody needs to know his real name.
No,
It's fine.
there's
It's Bogey Barn.
there. How many of us are there? 35? Is that what I saw?
Yeah, so I think it's 40 total people playing, and then like said 36 people from X or Twitter or whatever you want to say.
Okay, yeah,
X.
because we have
We'll call it that's the X invitation.
right, because we have ambassadors from Elmwood that are gonna play with every group. Jake Weaver's putting this on. He is the member at Elmwood. So that's very nice of him. It's so far it's been set up great. I'm super excited. It's a team thing. We're not on the same team. We didn't ask to be on the same team though. We probably could have been if
Right.
we wanted to be. I'm on Jake's team. I'm on the leader of this thing's team.
Yeah, I'm gonna call some BS there. Like I don't. I hate that you get Jake who has all the ins and outs of the course. Although to be fair, everyone has somebody there from Elmwood. So
Right, right.
I would hope they know the course. Um, but But after reading the cliff notes, and Jake responded to one of my posts today, it is don't be above the hole, do not miss the green on hole 12, and don't be in bunkers. And definitely, 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 definitely do not be above the hole on hole 15.
Yes, that is the impression I got. The other impression I got is don't miss the fairway, which is going to be a big problem for me.
So to play well, the crazy thing, I want to just rant a little bit about golf course design here
Perfect.
because, and maybe the handicap system a little bit
Yes.
too,
I love that
because
idea.
they have the ranking systems for golf courses, and you have your rating and your slope and whatnot. And Elmwood, because it's a shorter course, I think it maxes out at like 6,100 ish yards. Um, its rating and slope is not very high, but based on what Jake is saying about all the undulations of the greens, like all the spots that you can't miss, I would argue that it plays much tougher than what it is rated based on what I'm hearing. But we'll find out Saturday. But
Hmm.
that's kind of the feeling I'm getting.
I'm getting that feeling as well. And another interesting part of that, I guess, well, it doesn't really matter, but for somebody like me, who my skill set is length and wedges, basically. I mean, those are the two things I'm good at. That's the only thing that helps me score. Uh, at a course like Elmwood, I am at a significant disadvantage. So I'm probably gonna score worse than I would score on like a similarly rated course that might be a little more wide open. Whereas somebody like there's multiple people in our group that I know hit the ball. They don't hit the ball super far off the tee, but they're going to be super accurate with long irons, short irons, or wedges, whatever. They're going to be really good putters, and that's going to be useful for them at a place like Elmwood. So it's interesting, and that's just a problem that can never be solved in the handicap system, by the way. But it is interesting that we're going to be playing on the same rated course, but I'm at a much, assuming that I've hit the ball, kind of how I've been hitting it, which isn't super awesome. Well, we'll talk about that, but uh, assuming all things equal, I'm at a bigger disadvantage to compared to somebody else that's probably a little bit better that can keep it a little bit tighter, a little bit more accurate with the longer irons, and they're a little bit better putters. So yeah, that's a strange part of the handicap system that can never be fixed. There's a lot of things that can be fixed though, which we will talk about when we get to the tournament round I played on Friday.
Yeah, that sounds good. But
But yeah,
yeah, I am stoked for this. I'm very excited. Although I will be up at like 4:30 a.m. so I can be on the road by 5 to get
yeah,
down there, warm up, maybe grab like eat 7 coffees at like 3 Celsiuses. I don't know.
yeah,
I'll be a little jittery there the whole fucking day.
yeah,
But
yep. That's gonna be a problem for me because I don't know how early you usually get up during the day, but
oh, I'm
I'm
up at 5, dude, or
okay. So
early.
you're good. You're
That's
you're
like normal time,
you're
but
gonna be fine then. See, I'm normally getting up at like right around 8. And on the weekends it's later. Like I'm getting up at 10 or 11 probably. I've always been that way. So getting up at 5-ish for me, I have tee off an hour and a half later than you do. Uh, Getting up at 5 because I normally go to bed at like 1 or 2 in the morning is going to be a problem.
you should go to bed earlier.
I'm going to do that. I have planned to do that. So that's going to be helpful. But yeah, that the morning ride is going to be brutal. I had two evils to choose from in this situation. Uh, since I have two little kids here at home, can't just leave on Friday night really and just not come home until Sunday night. That doesn't really work here. Uh, so I had to.
Did you pitch it to the wife though? Did you say, "Hey, can I just be
I
gone
did
for
I
like
didn't even
a
I didn't even ask. Because I think I might be going on another weekend trip kind of down the road here, and I am going to be doing that then. But
Yeah,
the little one is like real little right now. He's just 2 months
Mhm.
old, so he'll be much older then. Well, not much older, but he'll be older. So I had to choose between getting up at 5 and then staying overnight Saturday and then driving back Sunday,
Mhm.
or going Friday night and then driving home after the tournament Saturday. Those are my two the evils I had to choose from. And both of them suck. Getting up at 5 in the morning to drive is terrible. Also, driving home on a Saturday night after you just played golf for 7 hours, probably not great either. So,
I will be doing the driving both ways. So,
yeah,
but
yeah, you're doing both.
but I also got some family coming on Sunday, and I have a tea time with my wife at 9 on Sunday. So it was either just drive home that night and wake up in my own house, or stay overnight and then leave down there at like 4 a.m.
Right.
because
Yeah.
I got to get a pork butt on the smoker. But anyway, nobody here, nobody's here to talk about us, in our sleep schedules. So
That's fair.
maybe let's dive into the state of our games heading into this tournament,
Yes.
because my God, my putting is still a mess, and it's not horrible, but because when you break it down, it's like you start thinking about the make percentages from where I have these first putts at. You're not going to make a lot of them, but it'd be nice to make a couple.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but that said, I'm in a work training today and tomorrow, so I've had a lot of time just sitting on Zoom, and I'm going to hit some putts while sitting on Zoom. Uh, but I was like checking my alignment, my setup, and I just came to the realization that my putter is like in the back third of my stance.
Mm.
And like even when I feel like in the middle, when I looked at it on camera, I'm like, it's still not in the middle. Like I had to get it so uncomfortably far forward in my stance that I thought I was setting up almost like to hit a driver. Like that's how far forward it felt. I'm like, that does not feel right to me at all because I've spent so much time with it back. But I know if I get it into the middle of my stance, hopefully I have a little better face control because it'll be, coming back into the middle of my arc and should square up a little bit better. I could just be making all that up, but I'm hoping that's what I get out of it. And and another thing was my head tilt. Like my head's always kind of tilted this way when I'm setting up. I don't know if it's because I'm like trying to peek at the hole or something.
Probably.
So I got a little bit of head tilt. My putter alignment is not great. So all those variables, like I hit good putts, but I think there's just some things if I clean up in my technical side. Hopefully, some of those, especially inside 5 feet, I just have to make them to avoid three putts because I have shot 76 twice this year with 4 3 putts each. Like it's
Mm.
just you can't play golf that way.
No.
You can't play really high quality golf that way. Like you have to be able to two putt most of the time, if not all of the time, and make some putts in between.
Yep. I in my tournament round on Friday, I shot 77. I also had three putts, and all three of those were like short. The misses were short. The second miss was short.
Right.
Like the
Yeah.
first putt was because my speed control is good, which we've talked about before. I feel I'm really really good at speed control. So the first putt's good. I get into the range where it's better than 50% make chance for every putter, and then they're just not rolling in. So
Mhm.
it's that's a scene. But that's well, hopefully you figured it out then. So that'd be
I
nice.
think I figured it out. Will it be in time for Elmwood? Doubtful. But I'm going to continue working on it, and I don't know. I tried to work a little bit on it in league last night, and I still don't think I was there because last night I felt like I was in the middle, but based on where I was on camera today, like I was not even close. Like my my putter shaft line was still on my uh, right eye, and the ball was like just to my nose, just barely. So I'm like, it's yeah, we got to straighten it up a little bit.
So with your putter, you have a lab putter as well as I do.
Yep.
Um, I was I was told slash I saw on I believe it was a YouTube clip by the dude that created Lab. He said that for setup with your putter with Lab, and this may have been before your version of your putter was made, so take that for what it's worth. But he said that the standard setup based on how the shaft lean is built into the putter already is you want the shaft dead center
Mhm.
and then however else everything else works, as long as the shaft is like dead center of you, then everything else is supposed to be lined up right for how the technology of the putter works. That's what he
Mhm.
said. That's what I
Yeah.
try and do. So the ball position for me is always pretty forward because I have a fucking rocket ship for a putter. Uh,
Look at your putter.
everybody does. I hate it too, but it rolls the ball well, better than any other putter I've ever used. So whatever. I just, I don't care about looks. I don't care about looks. I don't care about feel. I don't care about any. All I care about is ball go straight, ball go far. If those two are put together well, it can look like shit. I don't care. If that Nike Sasquatch like fucking square driver was good, I would use that thing. It's the ugliest club of all time, probably.
I still got a Nike Sasquatch 3 wood sitting
Is
in
that
my
one?
garage
Is it?
now.
Is the Sasquatch the one that's square,
Yeah,
or
the
is
Sasquatch is
that
square.
one's the
The
square
3
one?
wood was not square. It was just the
Oh,
driver.
okay, okay.
I don't know who made that design. I don't know what engineer at Nike was like, that's a great idea, but it was not. Uh,
No, no,
made the
and it,
loudest like ping sound too. It was like a
yeah,
tin can.
look was bad, sound is bad, the performance was bad. I mean, just
Yeah, just a
club,
bag.
that club should just never been used ever.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
reminds me of a club that somebody would have built. There was a show on Golf Channel for a while.
Mhm,
Uh, it was like a competition show where they were, and I think it was for a specific manufacturer even. Wilson. I think it was for Wilson.
mhm.
They were There was a competition show of like club designers, like technician people, to build Wilson's next season's driver, like going into professionals' hands. Uh, and so that club reminds me of something that like the people they boot off that show right away would have made, where they're just like, look at this square driver, and they're like, no, get off the show right now, you suck. Like that's
We're not investing anything in that. Please.
yeah, please, please do not use our 3D printing machines anymore. Thank you.
No. Anyway, so that's kind of where my game is at. And as far as my competition rounds, I actually felt really really good last night. I drove the ball extremely well. Like I was
Nice.
hammering it. It was going relatively straight. Trying to think if I don't know if I lost a single drive like way offline.
Nice.
No, I didn't. Well, no, with a 3 wood I flared it a little bit, and from the tees that we were playing on that hole, like I could not flare it that way because it just get blocked out by trees. Like I had to hit it straighter, and I didn't. I probably should have just hit a shorter club and stayed away, but yeah, that's stupid. But, but anyway, yeah, I struck the ball well. Wedges were really good. I just bought new wedges
That's
this
right.
past weekend,
Yeah.
and on hole 11, it's a par five. My third shot was just over the back of the green. The pin was in the back. It kind of hit maybe 3 or 4 yards past the pin. It was really wet from all the rain, so
Hmm.
like just takes a big first bounce. But anyway, but I hit this really nippy little wedge from like maybe 20 feet that took 2 bounces and just stopped right next to the cup. I'm like new
Nice.
wedges. I love new wedges.
So were
Fresh
the
fruit.
So I have a question for you on that. Did you get the same wedges that you had before? They're just new? That's question number one. I guess I have two questions.
Yeah. So question one, my 60 degree stayed the same. It's the I got 12 degrees of bounce with the D grind Vokey wedge. I actually went with the same bounce and grind in my 56.
Mm,
Um,
interesting.
Specifically just because I wanted more bounce out of the bunker for my 56.
Okay.
So I don't typically use my 60 for that. I use a 56. I don't know why. That was the sand wedge back in the day, and
Right, of
it's
course, yeah.
what I've used ever since I was a little kid.
They call it a sandwich for a reason, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you have to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so being that I use that mostly out of there, so I wanted more bounce. But I also like the that grind and the bounce for my 60 because my 60 is what I use mostly around the greens. Like I like to be able to manufacture a lot, so I want to be able to open up the club face, but I also want to be able to put it back in my stance and just hit this really low spinner. So that combination, I'm hoping works for me. I don't know. I'm not a big like I'm not a big what am I trying to say? Like club guy, like tech
Like a
guy, like
tinkerer, yeah.
yeah. So we'll see. I like my 60 before. The 56 seems fine the first few times I've had to use it. I actually hit with my wife on Sunday. I hit this awesome bunker shot with it. I mean, I had to fly it a good 30 yards because I pulled the 9 iron on a par three.
Hmm.
I had
Hmm.
to fly it, and it was just it bounced out of there. The extra bounce just it flew. It was so
Nice.
pretty to watch.
Nice.
But
So
anyway,
is
wedges.
the so it was the difference in spin on the new ones noticeable compared to the ones you got rid of? Like did you notice like big performance jumps? Because they say you're supposed to replace your wedges. Like for us that play a good amount, like we're supposed to replace our wedges once a year or maybe a little bit more than that. But like once a year for how much we play is what is recommended, which would tell me that if that's true, you should have seen some type of performance improvements. So I'm
Mhm.
curious if you did or not.
So what I would say is I've only been able to use them 2 rounds. It's been so rainy. I haven't even been able to get out and just hit shots around the putting green. It's been terrible here. Um, but I didn't have a lot of wedge shots when I played with my wife. I played
Mm.
from the tip, so it's a lot more long irons in than wedges. Um, but I can notice that on my full shots, it looks like I'm getting a little bit more spin. Obviously, I don't have a launch monitor to verify that, but just by the look of the ball and the ball flight, it looks to be flying a little bit lower with more spin.
Nice.
But I will say, around the greens, now that I've had a chance to use it a little bit, just off the fairway, hitting some shots, I can tell there's more spin,
Nice.
which is great because I mean it allows me to be slightly more aggressive, knowing that it's going to spin pretty hard and slow the ball down versus having 5-6 feet more rollout.
Hmm. Hmm. Nice, nice. I have new wedge. I'm due for new wedges. I have one new wedge in the bag because the prior one uh was put out of commission.
Did you throw it in a swamp or something?
No, no. Actually, this one, full disclosure, I have broken clubs in the past out of anger. This one actually just broke because
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
old. Uh, um, I haven't. Last year, by the way, very proud of myself. No thrown clubs, no broken clubs. It's the first year that I've been playing golf that I haven't thrown one or broken one. I'm
Okay.
trying to go 2 years. So anyways, so I have one new one. But my other two, I think we're going on 2 years on these ones now, so we're well past what like a needed upgrade probably. So I think I'm gonna get new ones here within the next month or two. So I'll be interested to see just how much that helps because I have noticed, especially towards the tail end of last year, wedges were shots that I thought that I hit were super crisp and were would like should like hit and stop or like those little pitch shots where it's like a couple hops and a stop. I noticed that they're just starting to kind of trickle out now.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think I'm due for some of those too. I'm really intrigued by those blue Mizuno wedges. I have no clue if they're good for me or not. What I'm hoping, I don't know if I'm gonna test them or not. I should, and I always do. But what I'm hoping is nowadays the technology on these in all of these clubs are so similar. They're all pushing the lines of what you can and can't do with technology in the clubs. That the heads of these clubs, I don't know if they even matter anymore. Especially like wedges and irons, that like you can only do so much with that piece of metal to push the boundaries to what's legal and what's not. That I think everybody has pushed the limits at this point where all of them are mostly the same or similar. I'm
Yeah.
hoping.
I would agree with that. I mean, that's why I got the SM9 Vokies. I didn't get the SM10. I mean, so I was able to get them for like almost 50, I think it was 40 less dollars per
Nice.
wedge than the SM10. Because for me, I mean, the way I think about it, the wedge, it's more you just want fresh grooves. That's it. Like
Yeah, for
the
sure.
the technology is not going to be so much different between the SM8 and the SM10. That couple of years, it's not going to be a huge difference.
No.
But as long as you have those fresh grooves, like that will make a difference.
Yeah. Yep. I would agree. And that's why. anytime anybody asks me about replacing drivers, I have friends that are like, "Hey, my driver's like 5 years old. Should I get a new one?" I'm like, "Is it broken?" Like, the technology in drivers really hasn't changed much in 10 years, probably. If you have a driver that's 8 years old to today, it's probably relatively close in performance. It's probably a little less, but we're talking like 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, maybe,
Hmm.
which is nothing with the driver. So that's like 8 years worth. So I think and I'm hoping that when you get down to the wedges that it just doesn't matter much because I really fucking want those blue wedges, Mitch. Really want them.
I'm sure they're just fine.
Solely because of the look. Solely.
Yeah,
And I just said like 10 minutes ago that I didn't care about looks or feel or anything, but I actually
you
I'm
definitely
making an
do.
exception. I'm making an exception here.
I just want cool blue wedges.
That's it. That's it. That's my
That's it.
only exception, and I'm just hoping that the performance is fine. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Mizuno makes them. Mizuno makes great clubs. I have Mizuno irons, and they're fantastic.
I've thought about Mizunos for when I need new irons, but that's a different topic.
It is. It is.
Anyway, should we get back on track? So I've talked
Sure.
about my game. I shot 38 last night. I took second in my in gross in my thing, and I got closest to the pin on a par three.
Hell
Got
yeah.
10 top credit, so that's
ten
cool.
bucks?
$10.
Heck yeah, that gets you like
And our
a.
and our and our league team is in first place. That's
Ooh,
that's
that's big.
but
Was that $10 get you like a half a golf ball? You do that a couple times, I bet you get a full sleeve by the end of the year.
I could yeah, I think a sleeve was like $14 or something. I'll stockpile the credit. We'll see.
Perfect.
I'm in need of a new golf bag.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
actually in need of one, but I just want a one for my club, just purely to have it.
Yeah, I like it. If I belong to a club, I think if they had a branded bag, I would go to that.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
that
that's what
sounds
I'm
like a great way to advertise the club that you're a part of, other than like your hats and your shirts and stuff. But everybody like guests will wear those. Like
right.
if all works out Sunday and we get to play together at Summerby, I will own a Summerby hat, maybe a shirt, something. I will own Summerby stuff. You know, I will not own a bag.
Yep. Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
yeah, so it's a good way to kind of brag about your club. So I like it. Yeah.
But anyway, you go ahead. You can talk about your tournament round, or we can jump into how we prep for tournaments. Whatever you want to do here.
Yeah, I would love to rant a little bit.
Go for it. The floor is yours.
My tournament round was on Friday, and for those that aren't anywhere near us, which who knows how many people watching are not near us. I think a lot of people that watch and listen are kind of like from our area a little bit, like in the Midwestish.
Yeah, thanks
Uh,
for watching.
End of last week was cold, windy, and Friday also happened to be rainy. So I teed off on Friday afternoon, and it was like 50 to maybe 50 degrees. I think it was less than 50 degrees when we teed off. It got a little warmer, but whatever. It was blowing 30 and it was raining. It rained the whole time. It wasn't like downpour rain, but it was like steady, like that annoying stuff.
Yep.
So we start that way, and keep in mind, as we mentioned on the show here, 3 4 weeks in a row, my game has been terrible. So, so I'm standing here like I'm gonna shoot 90, right?
I mean, yeah, yeah.
Uh, and I was actually expecting. I thought at a good score for me as a one ish, two ish handicap was gonna be like low 80s or so, just because of the conditions alone. Uh, I ended up shooting a 77, which when I finished, other than the couple three putts that I mentioned, and I duck hooked one into the water on a par four, which cost me a double bogey. Uh, Other than that, I probably played the best round of golf that anyone could have ever played on that course on that day. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling people. I don't think anybody could have played better golf than me, other than a couple three putts and the duck hook. I played so good. Driver is back, Mitch. It's so back.
Is it all the way back?
It's always, well, other than the duck hook, which
Yeah, you're gonna have one of those. That's fine.
I was trying to do something. The hole that I did it on, the wind was blowing straight right to left. So my left shot was already going to be a little bit of a problem.
Mhm.
The water's over there. Also, what's over there is a street, and then directly over the water is a bunker, which is shaped like Snoopy. By the way, it's pretty cool. It's called the Snoopy bunker. And then to the right is like all the golf course. So what I was really trying and hoping to do is to just I aimed at the trees and I was just trying to kind of hit it at the trees. And then last minute, my brain was like, no, no, I don't need to do that. There's enough room. So I just, in the middle of the swing, just so stupid, I just swung out. I just flipped it basically because I was like, I'm trying to get this ball back to where I want it to be. And then
Mhm.
just duck hook. So mental error. But anyway, so I shot 77. It's like the probably the best round anybody could have shot at that golf course. And then I'm thinking about it afterwards, and I'm like, this score gets posted to Jin, and they say that you adjust the handicaps for conditions. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I probably got a couple strokes. I got a couple strokes from being downwind that were helpful. Like the first hole it was 367 yards to the flag, and I drove it pin high to 24 feet. I'm not doing that if the wind isn't 30 miles an hour at my back. So I probably got an extra one there. I probably got an extra one on on another hole or two. However, I know for a fact I had multiple approaches that that I had misclubbed on because of the wet lie I was in that was
Mhm.
unpredictable and how the wind was going to affect the ball. Multiple that way, plus on all the holes that were into the wind, made all of them 3 to 4 clubs longer. So that just makes everything so much more. I'm thinking net that my I was hurt net on that golf course by somewhere between 5 and 8 strokes, probably is my guess. I'm going to say 5, but it could be up to 8. So, so then I'm
Probably
like,
like 3. So
now then I'm like, okay, if that goes to Jin, and it will because it's a tournament round. Uh, how much is Jin going to adjust that? And it's you know what it's going to be 0,
row.
0. So a round that I finished, and I'm like, dang, like that was high level golf that I just played. Like I was feeling really good after that. It actually isn't going to look that good to my handicap because the handicap isn't going to adjust for the nonsense that I played in. Like for example, I'm a one handicap. I played that course to a one. The guy I was with is a three, or yeah, he's a three. So he's on the same ish level as me. He's 2 strokes worse. But once you get to the ones and twos and threes, like everybody's kind of
That's
similar.
pretty close.
He shot 90. So
Jesus Christ. I'm having a good day. One of those days, just get me off this freaking golf course.
so and to my knowledge, I don't think he actually hit it bad. I just think the day was hard to play in. So um, yeah, so he shot 90, I shot 77. So that is like how good the round I played with. So anyways, uh, all that being said, driver's back. We are still striking the irons and wedges good, which we knew about before. We just had the little setup issue with the driver that we fixed. So, and I did do the first hole just very conscious because we said it at the end of the show last time. Just aim down the fucking middle every time. So I had set up originally, and my brain was like, it's gonna fade here because I'm just used to that. And then I just slightly moved it to the right, and then just
Just
right at
scraped
the
it.
stick, right at the stick. It was crazy town. Uh,
Just aim at the
so
middle. Aim
yeah,
for the middle.
yeah. That's well, I mean that's what I'm gonna have to do this weekend because I think it's kind of narrow. Um, and
It looks
hopefully it
narrow.
stays. But I will. We'll talk about our prep and our setup. I will be prepared for whatever the driver's doing. Um, before we
I,
start.
dude, I am never prepared for what my driver's going to do. If I'm hitting it well, things are going to go good. But if I start losing them, I don't know. We'll see.
So I can usually figure that out on the driving range before we play, and that's part of my prep that I do for tournament rounds. whatever I do on the range usually is what I'm gonna see on the golf course. I know a lot of people are not like that for various different reasons, but whatever I'm doing on the range is what I'm gonna see on the golf course. So I go to the range when I go to the range, and I when I'm hitting drivers, I'm just paying attention to the shape of the ball, and then I'm just playing that. The reason it was bad, obviously, before is because my alignment was terrible. So it was actually going where I
It's
could
going where
see
you
it
want it.
happening on the range. Just the alignment was bad. So I can see that happen. I don't know if that's the same for you, but maybe not if you're saying you have no clue if you don't know. So
No, I don't. So the way that I approach tournament golf in general is I try to keep it as similar as I can to what I do just for a regular round. Um, I might putt a little bit more and really focus on what the greens are doing. But for the most part, I mean, my driving range warm up, yeah, I'm just hitting like 5 to 10 pitching wedges, like 5 7 irons, 3 4 irons, maybe a 3 wood off the deck, maybe a couple of those, and then like 3 to 5 drivers. Like I don't hit a lot of golf balls. Um, I used to hit more, but I'm like I just need to get my body warmed up and have a general idea of how I'm striking the ball. The one thing that I used to do that I'm have gotten so far away from is I used to be a tinkerer on the driving range prior to a tournament. I wanted to make sure that my technique was right. I gave all that up. Just go out there, swing. I mean, have your swing thought, whatever that is. I have that, but I don't try to tinker with any sort of mechanics. I just go up there. I'm hitting balls. I'm trying to focus on where I want to get the ball to, and I don't care what my swing looks like right now. Just I got to go out there and compete. But yeah, after I get warmed up, then it's just to the putting green, hit some chips, putts, get an idea, make like 10 3-footers so that I can go miss 7 of them out there on the course. But
yeah,
yeah,
sounds
just get a
about right.
feel for the greens. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah. It's you. Yeah, so you sound like you have a very chill, relaxed, like seems like relatively short preparation for like on game day. You're like a hit some balls, hit some putts, get me on the course, I'm ready to go. Is that would you say that's true?
Yeah, I would say that's true. If I try to take it too seriously, I feel that I get almost like too amped up and then I'm shaky on the first tee. If I just try to go out, just relax, like just go, just go swing the club, get warmed up. I'm still gonna have jitters on the first tee. I'm like the like this Saturday, I'm the second tee time out, so there'll probably be like 30 guys
Yeah,
watching me hit. So
probably, yeah. I think when you're teeing off is about when I'm planning on getting there. And when I talk about my process here, you'll understand why. But yeah, I think right when you're teeing off is probably right when I'll be walking like out to like the course area. So you'll probably be the first shot I see.
perfect. I mean, yeah, and I don't want to get it twisted. Like I do get to a course in a tournament round. I try to get there about an hour early, just because I want to not feel rushed.
Yep.
It doesn't mean I hit a lot of balls or hit a lot of putts. I just don't want to feel rushed, especially if I'm traveling somewhere. Like if I'm heading, down to Elmwood this weekend, or if I'm going up to the cities for a tournament round, whatever it is. If I'm driving an hour plus away, there could be road construction, there could be an accident. Like I just want to get there early. I can hang out in the parking lot. I can just walk around the pro shop. I can do
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but I just want to be at the course so I know that I will make my tea time, and then
Yep.
I can just go through my routine.
Yep. Okay, so that's a good recommendation we can give to people that might have issues with like kind of feeling rushed at the golf course on competition days because I've played a handful of events where I also get there over an hour early. Um, but I'll be on the putting green getting ready, just waiting for the tee time just right before, and I'll see people getting out of their cars getting ready to come up and play still. So,
That can
or they're
I
just like running a little bit late, and they're like you can see them kind of rush over to the driving range, and then they're kind of hitting balls a little bit faster. So they're not giving themselves time to kind of slow down and breathe and kind of kind of get yourself ready and get in the moment. It's like got to go fast because I don't have the time to chill. So I would recommend, because you do it, I do it. I mean, obviously all the pros do it. They're there 3, 4 hours early, but all the really good golfers I know on competition day are at the course an hour or more early. I'll be there maybe an hour and a half early, probably a little bit less. Um, and my warm up and my actual like get ready routine is about 50 minutes. So I have 30-ish minutes of that extra time where if the drive is bad, then, whatever, that's that. If something happens at the golf course that it's like long check-in times or anything, all of that I've already built in the extra time for that. Or if I just have the extra time, like you said, I can walk around the parking lot a little bit. I can, if I have extra time and I don't have anything else to do, I'll start my routine and I'll just throw a couple balls in on the putting green and I'll just hit balls around. I'm not trying to calibrate my swing on my putting, my putting on the green. I'm not trying to do anything other than just kind of watching the balls roll around, kind of get a feel for how the greens feel, kind of how they're rolling. Are like the practice green bumpy? Trying to just get like a relative lay of the land, and then I'll occasionally like look around. A lot of times you can see holes where you're starting. A lot of times you can see like the ninth green or the 18th green. Sometimes you can see other things. So I'll just kind of take a peek at like pin locations and stuff if you don't have a pin sheet. Um, so like all just like boring, weird, random stuff. But you're there and you can just chill and you don't have to worry. Like you have time to do those things, so it doesn't matter. And then you get to I schedule about 50 minutes. I'm sure this will be surprising to you that I have a very detailed routine.
Everyone is shocked.
Yeah,
Everyone.
no, I'm sure I would hope by this point in time, if you have listened to me talk, that this is not surprising. Uh, but my routine is about 50 minutes. 25 minutes is on the driving range. So if I get there early, like I said, I'll go just whack some putts around a little bit just to kind of get a lay of the land. But routine really starts on the driving range. I do the same as you. I start with wedges. That seems to be standard for good players. Everybody starts at the low clubs and works their way up. You see a lot of high handicappers, by the way, start at the driver and work their way down.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. The
Yeah.
number of people I see show up to a driving range and just pull out driver and start whacking balls, I I can't fathom that in my brain.
I
Like
can't either.
I love hitting driver, but
Me too.
like I can't just start hitting drivers.
I can't do that. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So I start with what, yeah, and it's a good recommendation for people if you again struggle with warming up or you struggle with bringing your game to the driving range. That is something to consider if you're one of those people. Do not start with your driver. Start with the wedges, the short clubs. You don't have to swing those as hard. They're easier to get your body warmed up with. And those are your scoring clubs, so you should have those in your hand first and get used to those and the feel of those first anyway. Um, so yeah, I start with the wedges and then I use the clock method with my wedges and my swing out on the course. So that's where I just start in the clock method. I start at the bottom part of the clock. So I have a 7:30 swing. I start at the 7:30. I go to the 9. I go to the 10:30. Um, so I hit a ton of wedges right away. Like most of my shots in the driving range are wedges. And then I'll go up to like an 8 or a 9 iron. You should, by the way, helpful hint there. If you play a lot, practice a lot, don't hit the same clubs in the driving range. Like, don't always go from wedges to 8 iron. Go from wedges to a 9 iron or a 7 iron because you're gonna wear down your 8 iron like really quickly. The grooves are gonna suck, and you might wear it down to the point where it like literally breaks. So helpful tip there. Switch up your clubs. So I'll go to like a 9 or an 8 iron. I'll probably hit like 5 or 6 as long as the ball's flying fine. It's whatever. Then I'll bump it up to a 5 or a 6 iron. Sometimes the 4 iron if I think I'm going to be using it a lot. I'll grab that one instead. Um, and then from there, I have a hybrid in my bag. Um, I'll only pull that out in the driving range if I've done my prep the night before, which I always do, which wouldn't be surprising to anybody. And I've decided that I'm going to use that a handful of times, like maybe off the tee or maybe like on longish par fives for me. Then I'll hit that in the driving range. Otherwise, I just leave that in my bag and I won't even touch it. What I love to do, and what sounds like you do as well, is you take your 3 wood out and hit 3 wood off the deck, not off the tee. I I did used to do that with my 3 wood, which I don't use anymore. I have a mini driver in my bag. I do that with my mini driver now. So I hit mini driver off the deck, and that other than I may or may not ever do that during the round, and I might know that ahead of time if I will or not. But the point of that for me is basically confidence. Like if I can pick a mini driver off the ground, off of usually like pretty crappy ground for most driving ranges, if I can pick that off the ground and it's going like pretty decent, like it's just a confidence play. Like I feel real good about my swing now, and then I'll go grab the driver, put it on the tee, hit 5, 6, 7. Maybe if it's looking weird, I'll hit 10 or so. By that time, I've probably gone through 25, 30-ish minutes. And then to the putting green, I also have a clock method with my chipping situation. I'm sure that wouldn't be surprising to you either. So I'll go through the clock method at the putting green or the chipping area if you can't do it at the putting green. Go through that for 10-ish minutes, and then putting green, I go through all of my steps for calibrating the speed of the greens, which I've talked about in different episodes and shows here on how I do that with kind of how far I take the putter back compared to my back foot, blah blah blah. So I'll do that for, start at 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, get to 30 feet. Once I hit the 30 footers, I probably usually have 3 or 4 balls out there, hit those. Whatever is left from the 30 footers, I now start a process of I'm trying to actually make putts. So I'll go and make whatever I missed of the 30 footers. So that's like I'm getting ready to 2 putt now. And then from there, I'll take the balls and I'll kind of do a little bit of like a around the horn or clock method or whatever, kind of throw the balls down. And then I'm locked in on trying to make like 3 to 6 footers. I'm doing the full process. I'm standing behind the ball. I'm trying to read the green. I use the line on my ball when I'm putting. So I'll get down, I'll use the line, do all that good stuff, and try and roll in a handful of 3 to 6 footers and then go tee off. Very, very detailed, but that for me is what gives me confidence when I go to the first tee that I know that everything I'm going to do is what it needs to be done. Might not be that way for everybody, but if you're a detailed person, definitely set yourself up with that type of setup. Because if you just go out there and you're like, I don't really know, then you're going to go to the first tee and you're like, I don't really know, and then you hit the ball out of bounds. So yeah, and the way you do it is totally fine too, where it's more laid back, a little relaxed. You're kind of getting into the groove. You're kind of feeling everything out, and that's what gives you confidence. So if you're that kind of person, do that. Basically, what I'm saying is you and I have very different ways to do it that both work. Us giving you watchers advice, figure out which one of those you are, and then set up your routine to do that, and make sure that you're there early enough to do it.
Mhm. Yeah, and I would say, yeah, everything I do in my warm up is about confidence. And one thing I thought was interesting is that you said you don't hit your 4 iron unless you think you're going to hit it a lot that day for whatever reason. I take a different approach. I use the 4 iron because it's my longest iron in my bag, and my thought process is if I can hit my 4 iron well, I can hit my 5 iron, my 6 iron, and my 7 iron well too,
Hmm.
because the 4 iron is just going to be a harder club to hit. It's longer, it has less loft. So if I can hit that well, I can hit every other club well. That,
That's
that's
it.
that's my thought process there.
Yeah, and that's actually the only reason I hit like when I go from an 8 or 9 iron up to the 5 or the 6 or the 4. The only reason I hit those, like by that time, the swing is already good. Like I'm warmed
Mhm.
up. The eights and the 9 irons, those are full back. Those are full go. Like we're not really hitting half shots with those if we don't need to. So the only reason I do that is same. I know if I can go from the 8 or the 9 up to a longer club like a 5 or a 6 or a 4, if I can hit those well too, then I'm really good. And then I
Mhm.
then I pull out the driver off the deck, and that's more of like a super confidence play. But yeah, it's the same for me. That's the only reason I hit them. I wouldn't really hit them if I if I thought that it wouldn't that wouldn't be helpful to me to kind of feel that I can hit all the clubs. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah. And I think one thing that I'm assuming that you do and I do as well, and almost all good players do. I would think all good players do it. Um, is when we're talking about this warm up routine for both of us, I can guarantee we're not just out there firing a golf ball. We're picking a target and still trying to hit the ball at that target.
yep.
Even if it's just a warm up, even if we're just hitting 5 balls, whatever it is, still picking a target, still trying to hit the ball to that target.
100%. Yep. Not me personally, anyways. I am not looking at distance on that. That it's strictly direction. And the reason for that is, as we've mentioned a handful of times, is the range balls are shit. So
Yeah, they're not going to give you an accurate distance
right.
to begin.
So I will shoot the distance to flags. Like if I have wedges in my hand, I'll shoot a flag that's like close, and if it's like 80 yards or whatever, then I'll grab a club that will go somewhere around there just so I can kind of see the ball flying like at a green. But
Right.
I'm not like I'm not looking at that shot saying that's 80 yards. I'm trying to hit it 80 yards. I'm looking at that as just like a general area, and then now I have a target for the general area. I don't bring a launch monitor out on tournament days because that the ball is not the ball I play. It's going to fly much different. A lot of the times the range balls are one piece beat down balls that just fly like ass. So I would recommend not even paying 1 ounce of attention to how like the distance of the ball in the range. Strictly lefts and rights.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I would agree with that. And besides, you should know your distances with your clubs prior to playing in any competitive round to begin with,
yes.
because you need to do your gapping. I'm pretty sure that we've talked about this before. If not, we should. Like how to actually do a proper gapping and just knowing what you're looking for there. Yeah, you should know your numbers pretty close, so that you don't need to worry about that on the range as you're warming up. Just general targets and left and right is what you're thinking about.
Yep, 100%. I love the when you play with people that don't necessarily know their yardages, and then they go to the range, and then they go out to the course, and they hit a ball that goes 20 yards past the hole, and they're like, "Well, I wasn't hit that far on the range." And they're like, "Well, you're using a different ball."
Yeah, you're using a full, not a pinnacle,
Yeah, yeah,
practice.
right. A pinnacle
Completely
one,
different.
a pinnacle one piece that somebody like me has probably been hitting it at swinging at 130 miles an hour and just beating the shit out of it for 6 months, and now you have to
Yeah,
try and hit that. Like, yeah, it's
and it's been through the wash so many times, the dimples aren't even there anymore. Like, yeah,
right.
yeah, that ball's not flying right.
They might not even picked it up off the range for like 4 or 5 days, so it's probably just sitting in like wet, soggy water. And maybe they forgot about it over the winter, so it froze over the winter. Like you never know what's going on with
Yep,
these golf balls that you're hitting on the range. The golf
yep.
balls you do know that are going on are the brand new ones that you take out of the box that you put on the first tee.
Hmm.
We don't play used balls on the first tee. Is that right, Mitch?
I wouldn't say never.
in a
I
in a
have I,
competitive round, we are not going to the first tee with a ball that does
no,
not come
like
out
in
of a
a real
box.
competition round. No, I'll use a new ball.
Yeah.
Um, but so I had a sleeve of Pro Vs, and I had not lost a ball for, I kid you not, 4 rounds. I had the
Wow, that's
same three
good.
golf balls for 4 rounds. And so I was just repeating them. I'm keeping these balls in play. And then last Sunday, I lost the last two of them in 2 consecutive holes, and they were just gone. But,
I That reminds me of somebody somebody it was either on the Ryan Mulcahy post or somebody just tweeted at him. I don't remember which one it was. But this somebody asked him for advice on what to do with golf, like how long should you use a golf ball? And the guy was like, should like is 4 rounds too much? And I looked at that and I was like, my God, how do people go 4 rounds without losing a ball? And
right?
I'm a one handicap, right? So I hit the ball okay. I don't go more than like 2 rounds without losing a ball. 4 rounds is crazy, crazy time. Like that's hitting the
Dude,
ball real straight.
I've been telling you, man, my driver and my uh, irons have been very good this year. Like I've been striping it. My misses are fairly tight, so I don't know. That will 100% not be the case on Saturday.
I got a new box of balls today. Um,
Yep.
and I plan on losing them all at some point between either using or losing. Like I'll use one, and if when I finish it on the 18th hole, it'll go in my bag. That's now a practice ball. It's not going to go in play unless I'm shooting like 80 and I don't want to get another ball out of a box. Then I'll play it.
You gotta
Um,
have some hard balls in your bag. When you're doing something stupid where you're like, I have no idea if I can pull this off, but it's like I'm gonna try.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's what those are. Like after the 18th hole, I'll take the ball on the 18th hole. It goes in my bag. Now that's a ball for the putting green, or it's a ball for the chipping, or it's a ball for yeah. Like just like if I'm gonna try and skip a ball across the water, like that's what that's for now. Um, yeah, I don't remember where I was going with that, but oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
use brand new balls if you're trying to play well. Don't bring out a ball that's got dirt on it,
Mhm.
or or that you
Anyway,
hit out of a bunker 3 times.
yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna go off the rails if we keep going. But
It is.
so
Well, we're done anyway, right? We got to
yeah,
be done.
we're at time. So yeah, we'll wrap it up. Appreciate everyone listening. Don't forget like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Great for the algorithm. We will see probably some of you who are listening on Saturday at
Yeah.
Elmwood, and I don't know what will come from it, but it'll be fun, and we're excited.
Yes, it's good. It is going to be a blast. Yeah, I'm sure a handful of people that watch this are going to be there. Um, and a lot of people that are watching this are probably know a lot of the people that are going to be there. So it's very cool. Thanks again to Jake for setting this up. I believe that it was probably not the easiest thing to set up with being at a being at a country club on a weekend, by the way. That's probably tough to get
Yeah,
members to be like,
that's
"Hey,
okay. I don't know how he pulled that off.
right,
That would not fly at my club.
yeah, like, hey, members, you just can't tee off between 9 and 11, basically. So good. And then in the afternoon too, because we have 18 holes in the morning and then another 9 hole. I think it was a scramble in the afternoon. So I
Yep,
mean, we're taking up the course for a lot of
a
time.
good
So
portion of it. Yeah,
yeah, so awesome, awesome of Jake to set that up, and awesome of the club and the members to allow us to play on a weekend, which is awesome. Uh, yeah, it's gonna be super fun. So, anyways,
we'll
uh,
recap it next week.
we will recap how that went next Thursday, which are the days that we're always live. Thursdays, 8 p.m. Central Normal Time is when we'll be back next Thursday, unless we have technical difficulties, which we do occasionally. So, we will see everybody hopefully